As I've been getting older, I find myself thinking about how Halloween used to be. When I was a kid, Halloween was a very important time in my life. Everything was spooky, but think early 2000s spooky. I would make a very detailed map of my neighborhood to make sure that I would maximize on my trick-or-treating time. I marked who would give out the best candy, like full-on candy bars or name brand candy. The houses that would give out money, the houses that would give out the basic candy, still good, but they had a huge supply, so there would be no need to get there in a hurry. And the haunted houses that would give you the best candy if you managed to finish it. And last, but certainly not least, the houses that gave you candy based on the amount of effort you put into your costume. With all these things in mind, I could maximize how much candy I would get at the end of the night. First things first, getting the right costume. Now, I grew up with not that much money, but we made do with what we had. My older siblings would just wear all black and put a mask on, but I needed to be extra. Okay, showtime would be at 6 p.m. And as soon as all those jack-o'-lanterns were lit, it was time to get candy. We would always start on our block because they already knew who we were since we were all neighbors. Then we would move up the street where the real action was. There were a lot of kids in groups doing the same thing that we were doing. There were also a lot of big kids, normally high schoolers, making fun of the little guys. I'm sure that one day they will leave that kid alone and realize that their actions, they have consequences. What happened? What? Why are you guys covering my eyes? What happened?
Was that the bite of 87?
As I mentioned before, one of the more important places to stop at first was the houses that would give out the full-on candy bars. And all they would ask of us in return is, well, to say the thing. Say it along with me.
Yeah. Trick or treat. Give me something good to eat. How was that?
Ugh, cut. Here, man, listen. You gotta just let it flow, you know? You gotta be cute and adorable for maximizing candy efficiency. But anyways, we would have to say trick or treat so that they would smile and give us more candy. I don't know if that actually worked, but hey, it's kid math. Saying it equals more candy, and saying thank you at the end of it makes you feel even better. See? Kid math. The next house was the house that gave out money. Not a lot of money, but they would give out loonies. If you're a Canadian, you know what that is. But for everyone else, they basically gave out dollar bills, which you can imagine would run out very quickly, but we would always manage to make it there just in time before they would run out and put out the candles in their jack-o'-lantern. Yeah, when the house lights outside are off or the jack-o'-lantern is no longer lit, I'm not sure if this is a worldwide thing, but it basically means, at least where I grew up, they were not giving out candy, or they ran out of candy. It's a good tip to know so that you don't waste time walking up and ringing the doorbell at a house just for them to tell you, "Hey, do you not know the rules? No decorations and the lights are off. Now stop bothering me. I'm trying to watch the Garfield Halloween special. Now scram." The next stops are the basic stops, all the houses that would give out the bulk. So all the basic candy like lollipops and candy corn, taffy. Sometimes they would have the name brand stuff since they started releasing the mini versions around that time. But it doesn't matter, it's just bulk candy. So at the end of the run, me and my siblings can see who got the most candy. After a couple of hours, our bags were getting full and it was getting late. But we had one more place to stop at, and it was the haunted house. Now, we could have just called it a night. I mean, look at our bags, they were filled with candy, but we were greedy and wanted more. We knew that if we could complete the haunted house, we would get a prize, and that year, they were giving out the legendary candy apples. I had never had one. I always saw them in cartoons, and I wish that one day I would be able to have the chance to just try one. This was my moment. I couldn't pass this one up. I mean, just look at it. It's an apple. But get this, it's candy. What an insane invention! However, the haunted house was, dark inside, and I don't like the dark. Like many kids, I slept with the nightlight on because if you have a light on, the monsters can't get to you. Roar! Oh, darn it. I was gonna eat you, but you have that nightlight on, so there's nothing I can do. See? Kid math. I couldn't speak for my older brother and my sister, but I was scared. Like, on the outside, I was cool as a cucumber. But on the inside...
Have you ever had a dream that
In this haunted house, the rules were as followed. You're not allowed to go in with a group. It was one person at a time. Also, don't punch anyone. please. So my brother went in first and completed it, then my sister did the same thing. They seemed to not be fazed by it. I, however, was very much still scared, but I wanted that darn candy apple and I was willing to receive weeks of nightmares to get it. I took the first step in and, well, first of all, I tipped my hat to these folks because the outside was creepy, but the inside was just unsettling. It was so quiet that I could feel like I could just hear my heart beating, and it was cold, like I could just see my breath like super shivering, and the clock on the wall was just tick-tocking, and it was just really creepy. I was just following the glow-in-the-dark arrows on the floor, but I couldn't help but feel like I was just being watched. I heard some laughing, and just like in any corny, scary movie fashion, someone was behind me. I turned around and sort of froze for a second, as the person was way taller than me and was hovering over me. Then they proceeded to get really close to my face and said, "Boo." I backed up and thought he would be running after me, like they would in the movies, but what made this worse was that he wasn't. He was just standing there, staring at me, menacingly. Then he started pointing. Maybe he was trying to tell me to leave, but no. Something else was behind me and grabbed me by my shoulders. Again, I froze and saw that they had long nails and wrinkly skin. And just like in regular horror movie fashion, I looked up. And, okay, yeah, I started crying, I'm not even gonna lie. They had realized that they went too far and sort of kicked me out of the haunted house, but in return for my suffering, I got 2 candy apples, which made the night and the emotional damage I received totally worth it. We got home, my mom checked our candy to make sure that all was good. Then we would tally up who got the most candy. In last place, it was my sister. In second place, it was my brother. And in first place, it was yours truly. With my 2 candy apples, it was a no-brainer that I would be the winner. Then we would sit down, put on some cartoons in the background, and talk about our night and make some trades because we all didn't like the same types of candy. So trading for the ones that we did want just made sense. That haunted house was pretty mid. It was just following the arrows to the end. It was so boring. OMG, yeah, I agree with you. It was trash. Wait, you guys didn't run into the man in the suit and the lady in the dress? No, what are you talking about? Yeah, Justin, there wasn't anyone in there. It was just a maze. Nothing was in the haunted house, bro. Nice try. Yeah, you have a very wild imagination. It's crazy. You should be like a YouTuber or something. I don't know. It's crazy.